Alrighty. G'day, Wade. How are you, mate?
Good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Listen, I love turning up at the minute. We're doing a lot of work in positive male role modeling. We're creating safe places for our men to explore life's challenges, and we're really helping men have courageous conversations. And I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm enjoying working alongside of you. I'm enjoying the impact we're having. How are you going with it all?
No, it's been incredible, especially Friday afternoon or Friday evening, actually. Um,
Mm,
I I don't think we've unpacked it fully. Geez, what an experience. Just
yeah,
huge, just massive outcomes, massive influence. What a day.
yeah, I love it. Well, actually, let's just go completely off track, straight off the cuff, because I think this is a really important thing. Um, the business of smiles, having us present in your business or your company with your staff or on site actually creates an opportunity for us to have a social impact. One of the big positives about the business of smiles, and Wade, I, even Alan Stevens, who I'll do this with again in a couple of days' time or next week, um, having us present gives us the fuel to go and have the social impact that we have, either through dinners, supporting men to have courageous conversations and creating safe places for us to have those bigger conversations, or like we do actually last Friday night, because of Lend Lease, you did a presentation of Lend Lease, which we'll dive into in a little bit. That gave us enough fuel to walk the streets of Melbourne on Friday night and connect with people who needed a conversation. Let's
And
start with that.
it was more than just that, wasn't it? It was life
100%.
saving in some ways.
Correct. In a couple
Yeah,
of ways.
yeah.
So,
No,
you know,
incredible.
and we'll dive into that straight away, actually, rather than dive into the actual presentations we do. Let's talk about the social impact, because we actually met through a pair of socks, and it's not a story I want to tell tonight because it's part of part of your presentation when you're
Mm.
representing the business of Smiles. Um, but the social impact on Friday night, just walking the streets, that's the first time you've done that.
Yeah,
And
in that capacity, of course. Yeah.
yeah, how did you find it?
Um, it, well, interestingly, I thought that we were specifically going to be sort of catering or supporting those sleeping rough, which obviously was a massive part of the evening, and it was incredible. But I just noticed how we all wear a facade, and you just don't know what some people are going through behind closed doors, or underneath that mask that we all wear. And we reached out to some people, and we met some really amazing people with some really difficult stories, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And look, we've walked away from just one night having other people in our corner.
Yeah,
When I say in our corner, like I like to think of life as a 1 + 1 = 3 scenario, where my magic, someone else's magic creates a new magic. And so often when I'm having a conversation with somebody I've never met before, I get to learn their story, good, bad, or otherwise. It
yeah.
actually helps me grow, but it creates connection. But when we have people in each other's corner, that means we find ways to support and walk this journey together.
And
That
the
was a
incredible
big
thing
thing.
as well, yeah, and the incredible thing as well, I didn't get home until 1 a.m. and we met at Flinders Street at 6, so I got home at 1 a.m. and I still we it was a massive effort with Chad and young James as well. Like, it was a massive effort the evening, and we did so much and we helped so many, but I wasn't satisfied. I still left feeling, geez, we can do so much more. There's so much more that needs to be done, because even though we helped so many people, it opened up a can of worms more than anything.
Can of worms inside you, or a can of worms for other people, do you feel?
All the above, but it really highlighted, shone a spotlight on how many people do need this help, and are looking for support, but they're not even aware of it. They're sort of struggling in silence. So I went home thinking, wow, our job's not done here by any means.
Look, and that's the great opportunity, right? Because there's so many people that could do with a smile in their life and then find that intrinsic smile. And that's
Exactly.
something that's really important. Um, for me, I've been walking the streets for 6, 7 years now, and the amount of conversation, over 12,000 conversations that I've had just walking the streets. 12,000 pairs of socks have gone into the community, which have created some amazing opportunities. But
And
Friday
the incredible
night,
thing is, oh, sorry, okay,
no, it's fine. Come.
The incredible thing is we don't go out as preachers, we go out as listeners more than anything. And just the overwhelming number of people that are seeking to be heard and are just craving to be heard. I think that was something powerful that I really absorbed out of that experience.
Yeah, isn't that a fantastic thing? Because one of the things I learned a long time ago, I'm very like, "G'day, Luke, how are you, mate?" Someone else I met through listening, which is amazing. But the opportunity to listen and to actually be heard, like you talk about preaching, and it's one thing that I'm very against going out and telling people when I'm walking the streets my story.
Yeah.
I'm there to connect. I'm there to hear their story. If I get the opportunity where I've heard enough of their story and they're interested in part of mine, I will share that, which will hopefully create deeper connection. Because I've got a story not unlike theirs, and that gives me that opportunity. But the power to be heard, it's one of the most underrated opportunities that I know of. Just to listen to somebody's story, just to take the time to hear who they are. It's extraordinary, yeah?
Yeah, because we keep so much inside, when you get that opportunity to express it, wow, what a relief, like what a load that you get off your shoulders, out of your system.
Yeah. And look, I think the biggest thing for me is young James, 10 years old, came out with us and had a wonderful adventure where he got to find value in himself. He got to have the opportunity to connect with strangers while supported by other men so that he was safe and comfortable. And he got to learn a lot. Now, some of the magic that came out of him was just wonderful. What was it like being a positive role model to a young 10-year-old man or young man learning to become a man?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And just seeing how enthusiastic he was towards the whole process and the whole evening.
Yeah.
So normally you see kids, especially today's day and age with technology, they get a bit bored and they get a bit restless. But he was all in. He was chips all in. And what I really loved was that each interaction that we had, we asked at the end of it, "What's one piece of life advice you have?" And he was a witness to all that. He got to hear all that, and he heard some really experienced people, people that have lived experience. They gave him such valuable insight. It was incredible. And we got to be part of it. You know, we got to lead that and show him. I thought it was mind blowing.
Yeah, well, again, that's the social impact that we're looking to have. We're looking to have an impact well beyond just connecting with people. We're interested in taking people out on the streets and actually sharing with them how they can connect with others, but more importantly, their presence. How do they turn up? One of the things that I've heard over and over again when we take people out on the street is, I didn't realize how I was connecting with strangers. I didn't know I could connect with strangers like this, but I didn't realize that it comes down to how my projection is. Yeah. When you take responsibility for that projection, it gives you the opportunity to connect, and that's an awesome thing. So for you, how was your very first interaction?
My first interaction. Can I go back? You mentioned Friday,
Yeah,
or when you? Friday. So the first Friday before that, the first time you ever gave me a pair of yellow socks, and you gave them the mission to thank somebody doing their best.
Yeah.
Such an awkward, overwhelming experience, because it's become so uncommon for us to spread kindness and positivity to strangers in today's day and age, and just you know, even when I had something in my hand that could act as a conduit to create that conversation, it was still extremely difficult for me. I'm a big man, but for me to go up to a stranger, very difficult, because I was very conscious of my projection, and it's just so uncommon these days. People are thinking, "Oh, what is this? What are you trying to sell me?" But so Friday, once I got the ball rolling, you saw me. I felt a bit bad. I chewed yellow socks off tomorrow. Because it does. It becomes infectious. It becomes contagious. You become so excited by helping others, and it
Yeah.
becomes, and then especially when you hear a story such as, oh, you could have saved my life, which happened on a couple of occasions,
Mhm.
then you start looking for the next person and trying to be that person to, who else can I help? Who else can I be there to listen to? And it started, in summary, it started awkward, and I just couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah, it definitely fills your heart. Like what I love at the moment is got Lukey Mez. He'll come out with us one night for sure, and come out and actually help us on the streets, because it's something that he's wanted to do for a long time. Lukey, reach out and we'll have a bit of a conversation about how we can make that happen. Now, that's one part of our social impact, right? Is out connecting with those on the streets. And you'd be surprised who we end up having conversations with. You'd be surprised just who needs a smile. And quite often it's the people you don't really think that do need one.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's for me is an exciting thing, because that means that we've got an opportunity to connect with most people. But also with our social impact, we run the Smiles for Life dinners. Giving us the opportunity to run these dinners it's so important. Now, Wade, you've been able to host a couple with me now. How have you found them?
Incredible. Just such a safe place, and such a great group of guys. Just such a great group of guys. Like, you meet fantastic people. The environment's unique. There's not too many other places where guys can catch up and have those chats and eat together. You talk about the importance of eating together. I think it's an incredible atmosphere there.
Yeah, it's something for me that there's two key components that are really important in those dinners. Is one, we never ask people to talk if they're not comfortable. One of the strongest things you can do is pass. So we often write things down so we can see it before we speak it, and then to see whether or not we're actually comfortable to share that. And that's an amazing opportunity, because so often we react, so we say things instead of actually taking the time to respond. Now, inside the dinners, we always write things down first, giving ourselves to see what's in front of us before we project it, just creating that little bit of space. That in itself is an amazing opportunity to better understand yourself and what you project. Because we've both done a lot of work inside personal development. We've both done a lot of opportunities in growth. Wade, you were working in youth detention centres before you stepped into this work. So we've both had a lot of work in and around tough situations that create so many more opportunities for us to grow. I can see you're reading it in a minute, so I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But so the food side of things is so important, because as men, when you're sitting down having an emotional conversation, or not even necessarily emotional, but a big conversation, one of the nights we were exploring emotions, right? And emotions, there's so many different opportunities around emotion. One emotion, anger, could be positive, could be negative, it could be neutral, right? They're all depending on where things are at. But while we're having these conversations and learning, we actually need fuel. We actually need to have fuel inside, right? Because if we don't have the fuel, then we don't have the energy to have those conversations. And that's something that's very underrated. So I'm just going to grab this.
Aaron, how are you, brother? Say hi to Aaron.
Hey, g'day, Aaron. How are you, mate? I progressed to pony and feeling now, and I listen and make them feel heard, and let them know their feelings matters. That's the first thing.
Instead of pony, that was point.
Point, yes.
Luke said point.
But it's so true, isn't it? Like making somebody feel heard. I think that's really important. Luke, I love that. I met Luke many years ago, and I had one of the most beautiful conversations. I still have my folder from you, Luke, where you wrote me a beautiful letter. I still have that, mate. That's very important to me. Okay, so coming back to the conversation, because we're looking at reasons why people should have us on International Men's Day. We're actively seeking out gigs for us to speak on International Men's Day or any other time, giving us the opportunity to put fuel in in our bank account for our not-for-profit, the Business of Smiles, so that we can have a social impact beyond just the presentation on that night. But a day, lunch, breakfast, whatever you want us to speak, we'll come along and have a yarn. In talking about that, what are the things that we talk about, Wade? Like, I'm going to let you, you've just done a fantastic presentation for the Lendlease that they're still talking about today. And it's an ongoing conversation for them, which is absolutely wonderful. What do you talk about at these presentations?
We talk about courageous conversation, the importance of conversation. We talk about smiling, how powerful smiling is. We talk about the importance of presence. Presence was huge.
Yeah. Why is presence so important?
Presence is the biggest gift you can give someone, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. And especially presence over presence, CE over TS, presence over presence. I think it's...
I really want to dive into it. I don't want to give too much away because it's a really powerful part of the presentations that both Wade and I do. I close out with it because it has that much of an impact. But it is such an important part, understanding how your presence is the greatest gift you can give somebody else. It really is. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the letter that I got from Lendlease about your presentation and just how much A, it touched their hearts, B, it started more conversations, and C, it's become an ongoing conversation for them. So that's an extraordinary thing. But even the power of a smile, right? And why a smile is so important. Like, we don't think about it enough. We don't talk about smiling enough and the power of it. What's been your experience with that? Because I'm lucky enough to have been presenting about smiles for quite some time now. When you present on behalf of the Business of Smiles as one of our leading ambassadors, how important is a smile?
Oh, it's crucial. It's crucial. Yeah. But the one takeaway that's consistent with every time we do a talk or we hold a dinner, when people ask, what did you smile about today, last week, last month, last year? Every single person hits a roadblock and they're forced to think, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that we live such busy lives, and when we're not present and we're not absorbing what makes us happy, we don't reflect enough. And everyone can list the 8 things that are going wrong in their day. Everyone can list the 8 things that are going wrong in their week, in their year, in their month. But when you're asked what makes you smile, everyone hits that stumble block, and you have that aha moment, and it just makes you really think, oh wow, maybe I haven't been living presently. Maybe I have sort of lost my presence a little bit. So yeah, that's a big one. That's a big takeaway there.
Yeah, and like it's a fantastic conversation because, as you say, you know, there's so many things you can say that are wrong, and what's going on in your life that can be improved. But we often forget about the little moments in time that really make us smile. You know, so and smile. Like, there's a lot of talk around gratitude, and I do appreciate the gratitude side of life and having, you know, a daily practice of gratitude. But when we step into appreciation, a smile actually brings about an appreciation for a moment. It's a direct indicator that you appreciated that moment. What made you smile? What made you appreciate that moment? And when you understand that and you pull that apart, geez, it's a beautiful thing.
And it's free. Smiles are free, and they're contagious. They're infectious. I go on my morning walks every day, and I'm now the smiley man, not of Frankston, but of the North. I'm stealing your role, and everyone knows when I go to my coffee shop and when I walk around, the dog walkers and the joggers, they're met with a smile. I hope it makes their day. It leads to a lot of conversations. People stop and talk, and you know what? It costs me nothing. It's bloody free, and it can really set up your day. You win the morning, you win the day. When you find someone walking past, giving you a smile, asking how your day is, that can really have a big impact, and it costs nothing. So I love it. I bloody love it.
Well, look, 7 years ago, we started the Sunday sessions, which we used to get every Sunday morning down either Mornington Frankston, Chelsea, or Mordialloc, we used to get up to 40 guys walk, run, or jog or run at 6 a.m. in the morning. And we'd have all these guys with massive smiles on their shirts. And every time we went past them, we go, morning, big smile. And people just loved it. They loved the energy that came with it. And all it was Sunday morning, get us done first before we go home to the family, and filling it up. And it's just the presence of a smile and what it does in a community is an amazing thing. What it does in a workplace is an extraordinary thing. Gives people a bigger conversation rather than focusing on the negative things that are going on at work. You're focusing on the positive things and you're just checking in for one another. And that, for me, inside a work environment, really helps productivity, helps each other understand that we all go through different things in life. But if we bring a smile to the table, we might just be a little bit more helpful. We might be a little bit more understanding. We might ask that next question.
And there's a chain reaction involved in that. If you have a happy workplace, a happy environment, you're going to be more productive. You're going to be happier to key stakeholders, each other, clients, prospective clients. But you're going to go home happier. You're going to go home more satisfied. You're going to go home more fulfilled. There's nothing worse than a dad going home at the end of the day and being grumpy about what happened at work and taking it out on the household, is there? But imagine when you have a good day at work, you get the work done, you get it done happily, and you go home happy. And what kind of environment does that create at home as well? How positive is that? What type of male positive role models are we creating from there? So I think that's underrated in itself.
Yeah, I look, it's funny because both you and I have had extraordinary lives. You know, and to get to this point in life, it hasn't been an easy ride. And
unbelievable lives.
Well, we've had extraordinary lives. I love it.
Yeah.
But the whole yellow smile on the black, that's a smile emerging from the darkness, right? It's the moments in time, the fork in the road moments that Wade often talks about. It's those moments that, once processed, give us our internal smile, give us the opportunity to understand that projecting a smile, knowing that life happened for us, not to us, is such a huge thing. One of the things we do in our presentations is you hear the very real stories that Wade and I have gone through to get to this point where we've been there. And I'll get you to talk a little bit further on the fork in the road moments, Wade, because that's such a big part of our presentations is understanding that we have had very dark times, but we're still choosing the presence of a smile. We're still choosing to do the work, to come, to just turn up with a smile because we know it's value.
Yeah, 100%. We all have fork in the road moments. Suicide, I ate that. Divorce, I drank that. Personal injury, I breathed that. So all these forks in the road moments, they're common amongst all of us, but we have the conversation about it and we share it through lived experience and how we've navigated our way through that. And we spread positivity that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not happening for us, it's happening to us. So just being able to make, when you're on your own, you feel like, oh, look, I'm the only one that's going through this. But when we shine light on it and how common it is and how it is okay and that you will be okay, it's very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to grab this comment because I think it's someone I respect greatly. Hugh, we both know Hugh. How much is the sharing of our stories behind our smiles impactful for those we stand in front of? Love those moments of connection like you guys both do. And these are the things that connect us. We all have a story. We all have an opportunity that has gifted us life, that has given us the opportunity to grow. And that's something that once somebody hears your story or hears our story, it really does give you permission to own yours.
And the power about the community is, ironically, Hugh caught me at my biggest fork in the road moment, and he helped me navigate that, and that was done through sharing. through lived
Yeah.
experience. So I'm grateful for Hugh. What a story.
Yeah, 100%. And look, and that was at one of the dinners that even elevated that further, right? One of the
Yeah.
dinners we sat there, a father and son moment that took us to the next level as men. Every single man felt that in the room. Every single man who was there on that night walked away stronger because of it. That is exactly what we need in life, an opportunity to understand that real life situations happen and that we together can get through them. You know, like it's I love talking about the forest, right? It's a tree standing on its own out in the wilderness gets blown around pretty easily by a storm. When the storm of life comes, you're on your own standing out. You will get knocked over fairly easy. But if we stand together as trees, we become a forest of support. When the storms of life come, we're much more protected and we've got the opportunity to support each other through those storms. That for me is exactly how I want to live. And I'm actually lucky I live like that because of the business.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's one of my presentations. And
that's a good one.
Well, last year I presented at the Frankston Business Collective Wellbeing Summit, and of roughly 80, 90 people in the audience, I had a good 60% join me on stage because of that one piece of presentation, when we all understood that we all have dark days. And then we literally built a forest around somebody and let them feel the support of that. As I held them in front of me and we felt that support, it was extraordinary. That was one of the most powerful presentations I've ever done. Yeah, wow. So, well, listen, I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time tonight, but I do want to say that we want to speak. We want to share our stories and give others the opportunity to own their intrinsic smile. Also, it gives us the opportunity to have a social impact far beyond what we'll ever see, which is something extraordinary. Any last words from you, Wade? Okay, off the cuff. Why would somebody bring you in to speak at their company, Wade? Why would somebody do that?
Because it's needed. We don't give up. We don't give enough credit to how much it is needed, and we're all in this together. And I think that we have a duty or an obligation to help each other. And why not start with the people that you spend most time with? You spend more time with people in your workplace most of the time than you do with your own family. So I think we have a moral obligation to each other to make sure that we're all right. And especially if we're seeing someone so much, why not start with them?
Yeah, I do love that, mate. That is awesome. Appreciate that. Well, listen, we've turned up tonight and we're actually asking for you to share the word around, get the word around, get us at your workplace, give us the opportunity to create more connection, to have courageous conversations, and also bring your company closer together. I think it's so needed right now in a world of, I'd say, disconnection, in a world of AI coming through where we're just not quite sure what's real. When we're standing in front of each other and we're seeing each other, we're feeling those emotions and we're happy to be connected, we know what's real. So, mate, thank you so much for turning up.
I think I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow night, Frankston, we have our Smiles for Life dinner. Now, tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. Come along, $40 a head. It's going to be a cracking night. I'll be sharing my lessons from Bhutan, Gross National Happiness Centre, and the things I've learned and the power, the absolute power of community. I have a passion for it as it is, but after spending time in Bhutan and really learning about community, learning about elders, learning about fatherhood, and more importantly, learning about food. Right, that is going to be my big one. So that's Hotel Lona, Luke, Hotel Lona in Frankston, $40. Love to see you there, mate. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Scott.
Hey, listen, yeah, I think it's going to be a regular occurrence, mate. I think we're going to be stepping up a little bit from here on in. you probably see a bit more of us around, but I'm a big sigh. I'm seriously excited about this next chapter. It's like we've done this huge apprenticeship that's got us to this point. It's gonna take us to bigger conversations with amazing men from wherever we can get them from. But we're calling you in. I'm tired of everyone calling each other out. We want to call you in. We want to call the men in our communities in to have a courageous conversation. Come in to sit and have a listen. Come in to be a part of the story. With all my heart, thank you. Thank you for being you. See you soon. All right, Wade, where's that button?
Thanks, brother.
Do you know where the button is? Like,
Press
it's
the
all
button.
new.
This button.
You know where it is? The button, not that button. The button on this thing. Hang on, where is it?